The Ember Gate. The Ember Gate shimmered above the scarlet dwarf star like an ancient wound in space, a ragged ellipse of swirling gold-orange energy. For the first time in 2 centuries, it pulsed. And Commander Astrid Vale felt it. A Valkyrie to the core, tall, armored in silver-black plates etched with runes of her war lineage, she stood alone on the command deck of VSS Hrafn, a heavy assault corvette built for speed and punishment. Hull-mounted railguns lined its flanks, the barrels humming faintly as the ship's reactor cycled up to full alert. "Gate fluctuation stable for 20 seconds, reported Lieutenant Nix, her voice tight. "We're reading quantum shear consistent with activation." Astrid's jaw clenched. Only one enemy used gates like this. The Karnathi Dominion, a hive-minded, techno-organic empire that consumed worlds and soldiers alike, reprocessing them into war machines and living weapons. The last time the Dominion crossed into this region, it broke 3 colonies, darkened 2 suns, and only retreated when the Valkyries of the Outer Ring crushed their forward fleets during the Nightfall Rebellion. The Dominion had been silent for 100 years. Silent, but not dead. Astrid felt the heat of battle stir in her blood. The old instincts woke, the war song of her people. "Lieutenant," she said. "Sound battle stations." Sirens wailed. Armor plating slid into place around the interior corridors. Tactical screens unfolded like petals around the command throne. "Orders?" Nix asked. "Prepare the Hrafn for interception. If the Dominion is coming through, we greet them first." "And alone?" Nix said. "Better we die first than a colony." The Ember Gate bloomed outward like a flower of fire. Space itself rippled. A shadow spilled through, angular, jagged, too many limbs and hull plates to count. A Dominion harvest ship, colossal and predatory. Astrid exhaled once. "Confirm ID." Tactical scanners confirmed Dominion signatures. Multiple. More inbound. The enemy ship rotated like a predator sniffing the air, and its dorsal plates unfolded, revealing black spheres of antimatter projectors. "A firing solution is imminent," Nix warned. "Beat them to it," Astrid said. "Railguns 1 through 12, fire." The Hrafn's railguns discharged in a thunderous ripple, each shot a tungsten dart accelerated to hypersonic velocity. They streaked across the void, tearing through the harvest ship's extended plates, shearing away limbs and cracking the organic metal shell. The Dominion vessel screamed, not sound exactly, but a resonance that rattled the teeth and echoed in the bones. "Return fire," Nix cried. The harvest ship spat a barrage of molten shards. Astrid jerked the Hrafn into a spiraling dive. The enemy fire raked past them, boiling away chunks of cometary ice drifting nearby. "Bring us under its belly," Astrid commanded. "It's weaker there, slit the beast from below." The corvette dipped. The railguns reloaded. Plasma scorch lit the hull. Astrid felt no fear. Only purpose. Only the duty of the Valkyrie. The Dominion ship twisted, trying to realign, but Astrid had already anticipated the movement. "Fire all guns." Railgun rounds hammered upward, punching into the harvest ship's ventral plates. A flash, internal rupture, a blossoming of light. The harvest ship fell silent, drifting. "One down," Nix said, breathless. "But Commander, 5 more incoming." Astrid watched the gate flicker violently. 5 enormous silhouettes approached, gliding like predators on the scent of blood. "Then we draw them away from the gate," Astrid said. "From the colonies. Prepare for high-risk maneuver." Nix's eyes widened. Not the Spear of Fenrir. It worked once. It also nearly tore the Hrafn in half. "Nearly," Astrid said. "Not entirely. Do it." They accelerated toward the incoming ships, the Hrafn's engines leaving a comet's tail of white-blue plasma. The 5 harvest ships aligned like a wall of dark towers, cannons swarming. Astrid strapped herself into the command throne. Metal clamps locked around her arms. Neural links prickled against the base of her skull. "Route primary controls through neural lattice," she commanded. "I'll fly her myself." Nix hesitated, but obeyed. Lattice synced. The ship became her body. Astrid inhaled, and the corvette's thrusters roared. She blinked, and targeting solutions flickered across her vision. Her heartbeat synced to the reactor pulses. The harvest ships opened fire, 5 beams of crackling green energy that shredded the star fog around them. Astrid dived between them, narrowly evading the incoming barrage. Her thoughts became movements, movements became violent, perfect arcs. Railguns fired in counter salvos, cutting glancing wounds across the Dominion hulls. But the Spear of Fenrir demanded more. "Begin the charge," she told Nyx. The corvette's prow split open, revealing a long silver spike. Arc generators hummed, windmilling electricity around the length of it. The Hrafn became a spear, a weapon meant to pierce gods. Astrid targeted the lead harvest ship, the largest, its armored plates thicker and more jagged than the rest. All power to the spear. Cut weapon power to 40%. "Commander." "That's an order." The ship surged forward, faster than any corvette had a right to move. The rails vibrated. Heat washed through the hull. The harvest ship tried to reposition, but it was too late. The Hrafn struck it dead center. The spear tore through its breastplate and into the core, flooding the Dominion vessel with atomic fury. The enemy ship convulsed, then tore apart in a silent implosion of twisted metal and void flame. The Hrafn shuddered violently. Astrid tasted copper. Something hot dripped from her temple. "Status," she barked. "Front plating is gone," Nyx said, coughing. "But we're still alive." Astrid disengaged the lattice, staggering slightly. "Then we keep fighting." The remaining Dominion ships circled like vultures. This would not be quick. This would not be easy. But Valkyries did not fear death. The Dominion ships coordinated instantly, weaving in patterns no human pilot could match. Their hulls split open, releasing swarms of biomechanical drones, spines with wings, each armed with cutting beams and explosive canisters. The swarm descended. "Close-range defenses. Auto turrets on grid," Astrid commanded. The Hrafn spun, turrets blazing, shredding drones by the dozen, but more replaced them. Impact tremors rattled the hull. A fire broke out on Deck 7. Another drone exploded against the outer plating, cracking a seam near the starboard stabilizer. The corvette reeled. "Commander," Nyx said, "if we keep fighting here, they'll tear us apart." "Good," Astrid said. "Let them believe they can." She pointed to a nearby debris field, the remains of an old Valkyrie warship, half fused to the rocks of a shattered moon. "We lure them into the graveyard." The Hrafn darted toward the field. The Dominion gave chase. Inside the graveyard, tombstones of iron floated silently, broken hulls, shattered armor, rusted cannons. It was a labyrinth, tight and treacherous. Perfect for an ambush. Astrid maneuvered between the wreckage with razor precision. The Dominion swarm followed, ripping apart the debris as they blasted through the maze. Then Astrid cut power. The Hrafn went dark. "Commander?" Nyx whispered. "Wait." The Dominion ships slowed, searching for their prey. They dispersed, scanning. That was their mistake. "Now," Astrid roared. They reignited the reactor. The Hrafn swung out from behind a colossal ruined cruiser. Railguns fired a full broadside. The nearest Dominion ship took all 12 shots, its hull splitting in a long, violent tear. The reactor inside ruptured, and the monster flickered out. 3 left. Astrid didn't pause. She fired the engines again, spiraling around a rotating fragment of armored plating. They shot under a shattered war cruiser hull, past the skeletal spines of its destroyed beam cannons. "Drones incoming," Nyx shouted. Another wave descended. Astrid jerked the Hrafn into a collision course with a drifting Valkyrie battle disc, a circular slab of metal the size of a stadium. "Brace." They skimmed so close the hull shrieked. The drones weren't as precise. Many vaporized against the rotating slab. Astrid saw an opening. "Bring us above the cruiser mast," she said. Nyx executed the move. The Hrafn rose into the shadow of a toppled command spire, a long, spear-like protrusion from an ancient capital ship. "Astrid," Nyx said slowly. "Are we?" "Yes." She angled the corvette so the command spire pointed straight at the nearest Dominion ship. "Fire aft thrusters." Ram the spire into it. The Hrafn kicked forward. The spire struck the Dominion vessel like a planet-sized harpoon, skewering it through the center. The ship went still, then folded inward, consumed by its own collapsing structure. 2 left. And the gate continued to pour fire behind them, another shadow emerging. Astrid's blood chilled. A dread sovereign. A capital siege entity, kilometers long and commanded by a Dominion overmind. "Commander," Nyx whispered. We can't fight that. Astrid didn't answer. Because she knew Nyx was right. But she also knew that retreat would doom the colonies. And Valkyries did not surrender the living to save themselves. The dread sovereign slid into the starfield like a nightmare made metal. Its hull resembled an iron cathedral fused with the bones of colossal beasts. Rows of glowing vents pulsed like breathing organs. Entire fleets could dock inside the hollowed cavities of its armored wings. Its arrival electrified the battlefield. The 2 remaining harvest ships took new formation, falling into perfect synchronization with the sovereign's war pulse. Astrid, Nyx said shakily, if we stay, the sovereign will tear us apart atom by atom. Probably, Astrid said. Probably? But not before we hurt it. She pointed at a weakened section near the underside, a shimmering lattice of armor plates still adjusting after passage through the gate. We strike its unsealed entrance before it hardens. Nyx stared. We'll be obliterated. Not if we move fast enough. Nyx exhaled once. Then let's make it regret waking up. The 2 harvest ships swooped in to intercept. Astrid aimed the Hrafn directly between them. Collision course, Nyx cried. Not today. She inverted a corvette. The belly thrusters fired, sending them skimming under the first harvest ship like a knife under a ribcage. Railguns blasted upward, ripping a smoking gash through its plates. The second harvest ship lunged from behind, claws of molten metal opening. Astrid cut engines. The ship free fell and the harvest ship overshot, scraping the Hrafn's dorsal plating. Hit its tail. Astrid barked. Nyx fired. The railguns punched through the harvest ship's propulsion vents, severing its engines in a cascade of sparks. It drifted, wounded but not destroyed. There's our window, Astrid said, eyes locked on the sovereign. Its armor plates were hardening rapidly. They had seconds. Engines to maximum. The Hrafn rocketed toward the sovereign's underside. The giant entity noticed them. Gun vents opened like eyes. Plates reoriented. Massive energy beams charged. Astrid screamed into the lattice, move. The corvette surged, dodging beam after beam. Explosions flashed behind them in long streams. They came within 100 meters. The entrance was sealing shut. Fire everything, Astrid yelled. Railguns, plasma lances, torpedoes. All of it slammed into the not yet hardened plates, tearing a gap open, a small one, jagged and unstable. Hold on, Astrid roared. The Hrafn dove into the woe darkness swallowed them. The interior of the sovereign was a cathedral of alien machinery, all shifting plates, pulsing conduits, and luminous veins. Organic masses writhed between the structural beams, pumping toxic coolants and neural signals. Weapons fired blindly at them from the walls. Astrid weaved through the hellscape, flying deeper, toward the core. Commander, Nyx shouted. The hell can't take much more. It only needs to take a little more, Astrid said. We destroy the sovereign's heart, or we die inside it. Ahead was a spherical chamber, kilometers wide, with a bright pulsing mass suspended in gravity locks. The Overmind core. Astrid felt its psychic pressure at once, a cold whisper that probed her thoughts. Valkyrie. Warrior. Relic of a dying breed. It tried to invade her mind. She pushed it out with a roar. Target the core, she shouted. Nyx fired everything still functional. Railgun volleys cracked the surface of the core, blasting away chunks of glistening metal flesh. The core shrieked telepathically, reverberating through the hull. Fragments detonated into blue plasma. But the Sovereign began to react. Plates encircled them, trying to crush the Hrafn like a trapped insect. We need a bigger explosion, Astrid said. Nyx paled. Commander. The reactor? Astrid nodded once. A self-destruct. A last blow. The core would die, along with them. Nyx swallowed. A good death, then? Astrid gripped her shoulder. A Valkyrie's death. She opened the reactor safeties. The ship trembled. Then. A transmission crackled through the static. Astrid. Astrid, do not detonate. Her heart froze. She knew that voice. It belonged to Captain Rivenholt, commander of the Valkyrie dreadnought Skull, and the man she had once loved before duty tore their paths apart. Riven? She breathed. Hold that charge, he shouted. We're coming in. How? No time. We tracked the gate surge. You're not dying alone. Keep that core open. Astrid hesitated only a heartbeat. Nix, override self-destruct. Reroute power back to weapons. Yes, Commander. The Hrafn swung upward, dodging crushing plates. The core pulsed violently, preparing to unleash a psychic shockwave capable of liquefying every human brain in range. But a new shadow passed overhead. A colossal one. The skull tore through the sovereign's interior wall like a god descending, its forward cannons aligned directly at the core. Astrid, Hrafn said softly over comms. Finish this with me. She smiled, fierce and alive. Together. The Hrafn fired. The skull fired. The overmined core ruptured in a sphere of star-white light. The sovereign screamed. And everything fell apart. Astrid awoke to darkness. Metal groaned around her. Sparks danced across the Hrafn's bridge. Smoke curled from broken consoles. Nix, she shouted. I'm here, the lieutenant coughed. Alive. Mostly. Astrid unbuckled herself. Pain jolted through her ribs, but she stood. The hull had collapsed inward, but not fully crushed. How did we survive? She whispered. A voice answered through the static. Because I wasn't letting you die. Hrafn. The viewport flickered. Through gaps in the shattered hull, Astrid saw debris drifting, pieces of the Sovereign, the harvest ships, and old metal graveyard chunks all floating together in a silent storm of victory. The skull drifted nearby, its armor scorched, engines sputtering. But it lived. Hrafn appeared on a cracked screen. Dust smeared his face. Blood trickled from his brow, but his eyes were alive. You still fly that death trap of a corvette? He said. Astrid snorted. You still complain too much. Nix groaned. Can you two flirt later? Astrid shot her a look. Nix shrugged, wincing in pain. Hrafn continued. The gate collapsed after the Sovereign's death. The Dominion won't send reinforcements through that tier again. Then the colonies are safe, Astrid said. For now, Hrafn replied. There will be more wars. More darkness. Then we face it, she said. As we always have. Hrafn smiled. I thought you might say that. Astrid looked at the shattered battlefield. A graveyard. A victory. A warning. The Dominion would return, somewhere, sometime. Valkyries didn't get peace, only the space between battles. But today was theirs. Astrid straightened her spine. Nix, she said. Signal the colonies. Tell them the Ember Gate is closed. The Dominion incursion has been halted. Yes, Commander. She turned back to the cracked viewport. She felt like a scarred blade, beaten, bent, but unbroken. Hrafn, she said quietly. Thank you for coming. I always come for you. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. The stars glowed softly beyond the drifting wreckage. The war was over. For now. Valkyries would watch the dark. And when the next shadow rose, they would lift their railguns, ignite their engines, and cut the void open with fire and courage once more.